The ex-employee of MrBeast is now speaking out about the lawsuit and speaking out about MrBeast's response to the lawsuit.
After officially filing my lawsuit against MrBeast last week, MrBeast's team posted 2 messages that I exchanged with former colleagues, completely out of context in order to create a false narrative and try to take the focus away from an extremely serious issue. That's not transparency, that's strategy. So today, I'm here to show you the entire story and all the things that their team has deliberately decided to hide from you. So the first text message they shared is this one right here from May 14th, 2025, where they're alleging that I wanted and asked to be on a Brazil shoot. What they're failing to show you though is that several days prior, the lead producer for the main channel shoot reached out and asked me to help on the Brazil shoot. And mind you, this was not even my department. This was a shoot for the YouTube channel, for the main YouTube channel, and I was working in the merchandise department at that time. I was instantly asked and put on several high-level tasks, such as helping the producers get their Brazilian visas, hopping on meetings with Neymar's team in order to get our creative approved, helping them secure the Santos soccer stadium, which had not been secured yet less than a week prior to shooting. They even put me on a casting group chat in order for me to help cast the Brazilian contestant. So I was asked to be on several high-level tasks, and I knew that if the shoot failed, ultimately the blame would fall on me. This was the culture that Jimmy created, right? As Jimmy himself said, nothing on this freaking planet is allowed to come between you and getting those prios, meaning priorities, done. At that point, they put those priorities on me, and I had no other choice. I just wanted to have proof in writing that I was willing to help in case anything went wrong, so I couldn't be blamed for it. So I wrote the producer, I texted him that I was willing to help, go to Brazil to help them, and from that point, it was their responsibility to protect me and protect my maternity leave, saying, Lorrayne, we got this. You stay, you do not need to come to Brazil, we can handle this. But the immediate response that I got is that my presence there would be invaluable, followed by if I had a passport and if I could leave the very next day. The moment I saw that response, I knew for a fact that I didn't have any other choice rather going to Brazil. And I want to make something very clear. This Brazil shoot was not the first time that they asked me to work while on maternity leave. A week after coming back from the hospital, I was already receiving text messages, calls, being put on tasks. That was an ongoing thing. This is just one of the examples. In fact, the pressure and amount of work that I was being put on was so much that HR had to change what was supposed to be my original maternity leave start date, March 31st. They changed it to April 29th. So they had to adjust that because of all the days that I continued to work after giving birth. So my question is, why aren't they showing you this? Why aren't they showing the full story, the full threads? Because they know they should never have asked me in the first place. That is why it is a protected leave. This is the second text message they're sharing where they're alleging that I was not in a meeting during labor, that I was actually told to postpone the meeting. But here's the thing. Well, it was super sweet for this colleague of mine to send me that text message once he found out that I was in labor. He wasn't my boss. That wasn't the meeting that I had to attend while in labor at the hospital. That was a completely different meeting. That was a one-on-one just to discuss a specific project that we both were working on.
One of the sets for our photo shoot, maybe.
That'd be perfect.
Next thing is that they're alleging that I'm doing all of this for clout and that, as a matter of fact, I gained 1 million followers on Instagram after making the lawsuit public. I gained my first 1 million subscribers on YouTube in 2017 and hit 1 million on Instagram in 2022. I've been a content creator for over 10 years and I've cultivated and built an extremely loyal community without ever needing to use his name for clout, for growth, for followers. As a matter of fact, the entire 3 years that I worked at MrBeast, I completely stepped away from all of my social media platforms. So I completely stepped away from what took me years to build to show my loyalty and respect for the company that I was working at, because I did not want there to ever be any doubts that I was in it for the right reasons. So if there's anyone here that knows that this is absolute false, it's them. And the facts and my track record speak for itself. So while I do intend to continue letting the legal process speak for itself, every time they post something incomplete, something out of context, something designed to protect themselves at the expense of the truth, at the expense of women's rights, I won't be here with all the receipts. every single time.
I love that she's standing up for herself and not letting anyone silence her, and not letting them twist the narrative either, because MrBeast is one of the, if not the biggest YouTuber in the entire world. So the fact that it's her against him, this is definitely a David versus Goliath situation. Even though, yes, she might have 1 million plus subscribers, that still is nothing compared to MrBeast. Another employee that works for MrBeast confirmed that the scheduling for the employees is very cutthroat.
I missed a lot of Thanksgivings. I think at one point I missed 6 Christmases in a row. I've missed every part of a typical 20-year-old's 20s. My passion has been the only thing I've woken up and done for 8 years. That's it, nothing else.
MrBeast recently posted a video about the handbook that was mentioned in the lawsuit. Here's some snippets from that. One of them, the chapter is, I only want A players. You're either an A player, B player, or C player. There is only room in this company for A players. A players are obsessive, learn from mistakes, coachable, intelligent, don't make excuses, believe in YouTube, see the value of this company, and are the best in the goddamn world at their job. Chapter 2 is creating content. Quote, do not just go to them and say, I need a thumbnail, let me know when it's done. This is what most people do, and it's one of the reasons why we fail so much. I want you to look them in the eyes and tell them they are the bottleneck, and take it a step further and explain why they're the bottleneck. And essentially, it comes from one of his favorite books where it's kind of like a hose, where if you don't get this assignment done, you are now creating like a kink in the hose. So the water's not going to flow through the hose because we didn't get this done. You are what's going to stop us from being successful, essentially. Another one is work on multiple videos every day. Please do not come in and only work on one video during your workday. That's how you fall behind on future videos and create a nasty cycle that I'm trying to stop. The last one they shared is, this isn't a stepping stone, this is your final destination. I see a world where this company is worth billions, one day tens of billions. So he wants all the employees to be as obsessed with his company as he is. Eat, sleep, and breathe his company. There's no room for personal life.
How to succeed in MrBeast Productions.
Yeah, I remember when this leaked. Good times.
I was actually just talking to a founder who, his company just got valued at $2 billion, and he told me he saw this online and then made all 100 of his employees read it. And I've met so many people who've said their boss made them read this manual, and it's crazy. Because I wrote this when I was like 22 years old, but people really love it.
Notice how MrBeast only mentioned parts that seemed reasonable. He didn't mention any of the parts in the handbook that was actually mentioned in the lawsuit. So is it there, or was that just made up?
I mean, bro, it's funny. I can't even get like my newer employees to read this, but it's like there's so many businesses that my friends run or just people I've seen on Twitter where they make their employees read it. And I joke with my people. I'm like, when we hire someone new and I ask if they've read it, they're like, no. And it's funny because I know my friends' employees read the handbook, but my own employees sometimes don't even read it now. And it's just so funny how big this got.
We're at Jimmy's offices right now in Greenville.
A handbook written by a 22-year-old that has a chapter about boys will be boys. Color me shocked. Now, I love that he never updated it, and now he's trying to make it out to be like, oh, I give it to the employees, but they don't have to read it. This is so misleading. The fact that they were cherry-picking text to make it seem like she was lying, she is video proof, because one of the things in MrBeast's handbook is that you need to record everything, because anything that any of the employees use, they have to give to MrBeast so he can use as B-film for any of his videos. So it's like you have all of your job tasks, plus we want you to be a content creator to give us your content so we can put it in his videos. Okay. So she's literally has a video of her being in labor, having to be on a work call. How disrespectful. Do you understand what it takes to be in labor? Oh my goodness, MrBeast, I'm not a fan. I'm so glad that she's standing her ground. What do you guys think of all of this? As always, this is all alleged, so take it with a grain of salt and follow me for more.